going to play tennis again. Got a text from... I got a text from a different guy. He's down in Carrollton. Want to know if I wanted to hit at 4:30. It's 4:15. I said, yeah. I was pushed to the limit today. Cardio with John in that tennis match. My heart rate got up to 162. It's on my watch. So this is going to be a good little hour workout again. It's such a blessing to have good health, but it takes work. Diet, discipline, even religion, Sabbath. So my wife and I are going to California in 2 weeks on business. We'll be up in the Sacramento area, staying at the Marriott, and it's going to be near Doug Batchelor's church. And I really like Doug Batchelor a lot. He's a Seventh-day Adventist evangelist, so I may drop in, and I've met him before in Loma Linda. He's a very nice guy. Last 2 weeks ago, he had a whole weekend series of meetings at his church. He had the president of the General Conference of Seventh-day Adventists, Ted Wilson, and he had Cliff Goldstein also, and some other people. And I love Cliff Goldstein. In fact, I have corresponded him. He said I brought him to tears when I told him our story, and he's really admires John Carter and his work. I said, Cliff, you know, we attended Pastor Carter. He's a friend of ours, and he said, I just wish I could. He said, he's very humble. He said, I wish I could measure up to what John Carter does. But Cliff Goldstein is a theologian, and he used to be a secular Jew, non-believing Jew, became an Adventist. Like Doug Batchelor, he's part Jewish. And he really is well versed on the 1844 investigative. He said that he had to study it for himself because if it wasn't true, our church was founded on a lie and he would be out of here. Because he came up right in 1980 when that doctrine was being attacked by people that were in our church, by Dale Ratzlaff, by Walter Ray, Walter Ray was more of Ellen White, but Desmond Ford certainly was attacking it, not in a mean way, just was challenging it. I've met Des Ford. He was nobody better on the gospel than Des Ford. He passed away a few years ago. I met him also at Loma Linda. We all went to hear him speak with Pastor Carter. I remember that day, and my brother Chuck was there, my mom was there, and we listened to him in front of a room, standing room only. He stood up there and just preached from the Bible without even having the Bible. He quoted from it. If you listen to Des Ford on YouTube, you'll see what I mean on the gospel. But I don't think he was correct on 1844. I researched it, and then I listened to what our best theologian, Dr. Bill Shea, who I think out-debated Des Ford. Dr. William Shea was a Loma Linda surgeon, doctor, but his real love was Bible archaeology. So he went, after being a surgeon, still young, he decided to go back. He went to Harvard, and then he got a PhD in foreign languages from Michigan. These guys, you know, when they study the Bible and talk about the Bible, they do it in the Bible language, not in English. They know the Greek and the Hebrew and the Aramaic, and they're like walking commentaries. And I think he beat Des Ford, which is not easy to do because Des Ford is smart. But Bill Shea, I think, was smarter. And he covered every one of Ford's points. Even at one point, kind of made Ford look bad. Not bad in a malicious way, but really like, how can you say that? And then he'd quote and he'd make his case. It was like, yeah, man, That's biblical, what Dr. Shea is saying. There is a judgment. There is a holy and a most holy in heaven. Those aren't symbols. John saw the Ten Commandments in heaven, the tabernacle of the testimony, the Ark of the Covenant. So Cliff Goldstein was at Doug Batcher's conference a couple of weeks ago. It was a whole weekend thing, similar to what we used to have at the Carter Report. We'd have all-day Sabbath televised, the heritage singers, and usually it was to help raise money and for a campaign he was having. Those were the best days of our lives. My brother Chuck, my mom, us, my cousin Sherry, all sitting down there, our friends, so many from church. Still know them all, still in contact with Susie and Javier. Jill and Eric moved here from California. They live just in Caller, just minutes away. So we got so many friends and family, and I have friends that I connect with from high school, and my coach, and still in the church. So we're going to be in Sacramento in a couple weeks. We get in late, like at midnight, and she'll be out, and I'll be kind of go to keep an eye on, make sure she's safe in California. Still looking for a place. There's some nice places. Paid our tithe and offerings today because God blesses us. He just keeps blessing us. It's gonna stop someday, I know, but until it does, pay your tithe and offerings. I give to Miracle Air too. I know the Hansen family. Norm is a friend of mine. He flies airplanes, and they fly to the most remote part of the world to bring supplies and Bibles and medical help. It's an Adventist ministry, Miracle Air. And I told Norm, we support you. And him and his family are just the salt of the earth. And he's a pilot. All right, I'm going to play again here. We're going to play for an hour. I got 8 minutes to get there. This is Carrollton. And Scott is the guy that I'm playing. His name is Scott. He's a good hitter. Different than John. John has a lot of drop shots, a lot of slices, a lot of angles. I'm always running, out of breath with John. But Scott hits the ball back to me, and we have, I think, better rallies. But it's good practice. All right, God bless. I'm out.